Next thing is doing tasks. So it's important that you're able to complete tasks on time without distraction. Studies have shown that number one, if you multitask or try to do more than one thing at a time, such as listening to a conversation while you work, you're less than 50% effective at both tasks. That means that you're actually better to do things separately than together. A lot of people believe that they can multitask and they can do more than one thing at once, but a number of studies looking at a large variety of people have found that the majority of people cannot do this effectively, and you actually do both tasks at a lesser rate. So it's important that you don't believe that you can multitask, but you focus on one thing at a time. Okay? And there's a link to the study there if you don't believe what I've just said. The next one is distractions are costly. So when you are distracted from a task, it can take an average of 23 minutes to get back on task, depending on the complexity of the distraction, how different it is from the task that you're currently doing. So it's important that you do focus on that task and you don't get distracted. Distractions could be things like email. So when a new email pops up, you stop what you're doing, you read the email, and then you try to get back into what you were doing, and you can't because it's very difficult. It could be a conversation with a coworker, it could be lunch, and so on and so on. So when you are working on a task, it's extremely important that you focus on that task, because if you don't, then it can take an average of 23 minutes to get back on task, and that's 23 minutes every time there's a distraction. So it could be a large amount of the workday that you're not fully focused and working on that task. So next one is the Pomodoro technique. So one of the big problems that we have is that getting distracted and working solid for a time. Okay, so the Pomodoro technique helps with that. It was invented by an Italian guy who decided to get a kitchen timer, and being Italian, it was a tomato or a pomodoro. And so he set the timer for 25 minutes and promised himself that he would just work solidly for 25 minutes. So the idea is that you set a timer, and there's a number of apps that you can get either on the app stores or Chrome Web Store or whatever, where you can set a 25-minute timer. And the idea is that for that 25 minutes, you work solidly. You don't check email, you don't check Facebook, don't check anything. You only work on the task that you want to do. And then when the timer goes off, it will automatically change to a 5-minute break and start counting down. So then you take a 5-minute break. You go to the toilet, you get a drink, you go have a chat with a colleague, whatever you want to do. Right? Then you repeat this for 4 Pomodoros. Okay, so after the 5-minute break, you come back and do another 25 minutes, then break, 25 minutes, break, 25 minutes, break. So every 2 hours, you've done 4 Pomodoros, but after the 4, you then take a 30-minute break. So that's probably going to be a meal break. All right. This will enable you to keep fresh, but also concentrate on your task. Okay. So this is a really, really important technique. When you first start doing a task, you're not tired, you're not bored, and it's very easy to smash out 25 minutes here and there. But as the work goes on, you get more and more tired, more and more distracted, because you've been doing this task for so long. So the Pomodoros aren't needed at the start of a task, but by doing them at the start of a task, then it helps to delay the onset of that tiredness. And by the end of the task, especially if it goes for more than 4 Pomodoros, more than 2 hours, then you're really thankful for those 5-minute breaks and even those half-hour breaks in between, just to keep you fresh and concentrating on your task. The next one is Kaizen. So Kaizen is Japanese for continuous improvement and involves making small changes for improvement over large changes that are more risky and likely to fail. The Japanese method has a great number of steps that are more suited to change across a whole organization, and in the West there are mainly 4. Okay, we have assess, we have plan, we have implement, and we have evaluate. All right. By using these steps, you can easily improve the process you're in charge of or your own workflow. Using Kaizen to look at the way you work will enable you to slowly improve your efficiency while you're at work. So the idea is that you take these steps, you implement them in a process that you're in charge of. It might be your own work process, all right? And you slowly, gradually improve. So you make a change maybe every day or every week, but it's the smallest change. But as you make these changes, you assess what you need to change, you plan for that change, you implement and you evaluate. And these steps don't have to be very long, could be like a 5-minute thing at the start of the day. But as you improve, then you can, as you change, you can see whether the change improved what you did or not. And then you can implement that change as a part of the natural workflow. and then you just slowly change and improve as you go. The Japanese have found that this is a massively effective tool in terms of making a really, really productive workplace. The next one is actually just doing. So there were some previous tricks before, but there's really no magical trick in terms of doing work. At some point, you just have to actually do it.